you're watching this video most likely because you either have a website that is not working well for you, or you're considering hiring a professional web development company to build one for you. Now, if you do have a website, you most likely have one because somebody at some point told you that you needed a professional online presence. Now, 10 years ago, that was the way to do things, and having a website, did a lot for you. There wasn't that much competition. There wasn't these modern concepts of how to get business to the websites, at least not at the capacity that there is now. So nowadays, a website has become much more than just a good first impression or something that'll make your business more professional. Now, a website has become a 24/7 sales tool. Now, if done right, your website should represent you at the highest capacity. Consider it like an employee, right? If your sales team is not doing good, we probably let them go or have a conversation with them. Or if they're doing well for you, obviously we're going to pay them more money, give them more incentives. So with that said, your website in today's day and age needs to be your 24/7 sales tool. In this video, I'm going to cover the 3 deadly mistakes businesses make when they're considering having their website designed or redesigned. Now, the first deadliest mistake is one that a lot of people make, and it's primarily born out of wanting to save a little bit of money on the build out, right? So that's the DIY approach. So the reason why we don't recommend the DIY approach, not because I want to make a ton of money off you guys or, for our clients that we build websites for, but it has too many gaps. Right now, that's not to say you can't build something that looks good, but what's the point of something looking good if it's not going to have all of the concepts that a lot of us, at least professional agencies, bring to the table, considering conversion rates, the psychology of the content that goes on the website, the optimization for search engines, and all of those various aspects that are very important to creating something that is a 24/7 sales tool. Now, if your goal is to just do something on your own and build it, then you should try something like Wix or Squarespace. And if your goal is not to make a ton of money from the website, then you probably shouldn't be watching this video anyway, right? So don't make it yourself. Consult with somebody that looks beyond the website into things that are going to drive sales and traffic to the website. So now the second biggest mistake that people make is assuming that just because they have a good website, that it's going to bring in a ton of sales on its own, or that it's going to generate a ton of traffic, right? Because what's the point of having a website if nobody can ever find it, or if we're not driving enough people to see it? We have a saying in our world where we say that the best place to hide a dead body is on the second page of Google, right? Because as you know, when you're searching for services within your area and you see everybody else except for yourself, or you may see yourself down the road. So that leads us into the conversation of, so what are the different ways to drive traffic to a website, right? And more importantly, qualify traffic. So the options are endless, unfortunately, and each one of these will lead you into this crazy rabbit hole. And I'm sure you've probably been through a few yourself. So we can start with Google SEO, which is the concept of being more visible online, whether it be with your Google Maps profile or with your website itself, right? Other concepts like Google Ads, which is just the other side of the coin. When you're not showing up organically on Google, right? If you search, for example, HVAC companies near me and your business is not there, you have to pay for that real estate. And that's what you see above, that is above the maps. That's what we call Google Ads, right? So 2 sides of the same coin. Both of them are super high intent just because people are actively looking to solve a problem and your business is showing up. So as long as you have a good website and it's presenting your services and everything is listed in a way that is psychologically structured to compel them to inquire or call you, you're going to do really well in these aspects. Now, there's other channels like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, local TikTok ads, and email marketing. The list is endless, right? So ultimately, what happens is people get caught wondering which one of these is best. And the fact of the matter is that if done right, any of these can work. I'm sure you have a buddy or there's people in your network that have given you advice on, hey, you absolutely need to do Facebook ads, right? And many times you have tried them, you get a bunch of leads and nothing happens. So now that you know at least a handful of different ways to drive qualified traffic to your website, let's go into each one of them a little bit to give you an understanding of the right time to use them and have an understanding of like what they can cost to some extent or how long they can take to work as well. SEO stands for search engine optimization, right? There's 2 sides of this coin as well. Within that, it's going to be your Google Maps and your website. Now, when somebody is searching, like right now, a lot of people seem to think that in this building right now, for example, pretend that it's your business and you get on your phone and you search, plumbing companies near me, right? Let's say you are a plumbing company and then you see your name show up. Now, what people don't know is that if you go within a mile in any direction, right, that you're most likely not going to show up if you're not paying for SEO, or if you're not having somebody optimize your business profile or your website for the keywords, writing blogs, doing things like press releases, backlinks, there's a lot of stuff that is entailed in SEO that has very little to do with actually having a website and having your Google business profile. There's other ways that we can build trust with search engines to give you more visibility and ultimately get you more qualified traffic. So there is Google Maps and then Google Search, which is the section right below Google Maps. It is pretty much designed to show the top websites there. So the other side of SEO is your website SEO, right? That has a lot to do with the structure, which we call the sitemap. It's essentially the foundation of your website, the way that your pages are structured and the hierarchy, and also the keywords that you're using on the page. Now, you may have heard this term used loosely and you think, oh yeah, we just got to put more keywords, very similar to Instagram with hashtags and all that stuff. Now, that is true. Now, there's a balance to how many keywords and the variety of keywords. All of the stuff that we do in that respect is backed by special software and tools that we pay for and invest in that show us the amount of volume that's available in your market for your services, right? Everything needs to be backed by data, because if you're just showing up, for example, for, photographers near me, photographers Fresno, photographers Madera, that keyword only has maybe 30 to 40 people searching for it per month if you're lucky. There is an endless list and different versions of the way that people are searching things that are relevant to your business. So what SEO is designed to do is we research that entire list. We find the ones that have the most opportunity for you. Sometimes it's the ones with the highest volume. Sometimes it's ones that have a lower volume, and we call these low-hanging fruit. Either way, we build a strategy, we build a list, we set you up with tracking, and then we show you the growth in Google Maps. We show you the growth through your website. And ultimately, the way we measure success is sales. I think that everything that you do in response to your website and everything that I'm going to cover with Facebook ads, Instagram, and all that, at the end of the day, we're going back to having a 24/7 sales tool. So that's SEO. Now, things like Facebook and Instagram ads, one of the questions that we get asked so often is, what is the best platform to grow a business? It's not which one is best. It's understanding the purpose and the way that these platforms operate. So platforms like Google are what we call high intent platforms, where people are actively going there to solve the problem, usually pretty quickly, or they're doing a little bit more research, right? Which is fine. Either way, they're at a stage where they're actively trying to do something along solving that problem, right? Now, platforms like Facebook and Instagram, these people are not actively looking to solve the problem unless it's things like Marketplace, right? Which we all know that if you're a serious business owner, there's not too much quality found in Marketplace, but that's a different topic. So these platforms aren't really high intent. That means that we need to create video content like this to be able to interrupt them in a way where you're not just trying to have a transactional message. Now, that's not to say that those transactional messages do not work, but you have to think about the long game for your business. Where do I want my business to be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? If you want to run a special offer for the rest of your life, that may do well on Facebook. You know what? More power to you. I'm not saying that that's wrong, but working with a company like ourselves that understands the buying cycles, as in the levels of awareness, consideration, and sales, is very important, not only because it has more scalability, but also it focuses more on raising awareness while driving sales at the same time, which is very difficult to do. When it comes down to Facebook and Instagram, you have the option to drive leads directly to your CRM, to drive traffic to your website, right? At the end of the day, that's what we're going over today, is driving qualified traffic to your website. So I'll give you an example of something that you can try right away with social media. So as long as you have your Facebook pixel connected to your website, you can actively retarget people that are visiting your website, right? That is one of the strategies that we use to get in front of people that are actively looking to solve the problem, instead of just letting Facebook target people that they think is going to fit your criteria. Ultimately, AI is, readily available there, but it's really not as effective as having data like, hey, these people visited these pages on my website. It would be cool if they saw this video that would help them better understand that service, right? We call this retargeting. So with social media, you have the ability to do cold outreach, which is just, hey, show this ad to whoever you think is going to be a good fit, which many people do. And we're not a big fan of that strategy here. Just, we believe that there's more intentional ways to approach warmer traffic. We call it, right? Cold traffic is people that have never heard about you. Warm traffic is the idea of getting in front of somebody a second time, a third time with a different message, and considering the way that people purchase, from awareness, consideration to conversion or sales, right? So the power of social media is amazing. It's readily available as long as you have the right strategy, not only in the person managing the ads on the technical side of the ad manager, They're not people running ads on their phones and boosting stuff, because that's just a waste of money. And also the video strategy behind it, the ad copy behind it, the understanding of the sales process is really important, especially if you're considering somebody not only for your website, but somebody who's just managing your entire marketing strategy. You should probably look into people that have this understanding and can explain that to you really well and show you what that may look like for you, right? So all in all, that's very similar to the approach with TikTok ads. A lot of people don't know that you can run ads on TikTok locally. And the really cool part about TikTok ads is that it's such an untapped market. And TikTok, and I'm sure if you're somebody that scrolls TikTok a lot, like my wife, they buy stuff all the time, and a lot more often than they would do on platforms like Facebook and Instagram. TikTok has done a really good job of conditioning people into this mindset where if they see something that can solve a problem that they're having at the moment, they're almost ready to buy it on the spot, right? I just bought an oil dispenser where you can spray it on my new Blackstone grill, and it just popped up. I think because I was being retargeted because I visited their website and then I saw the ad and I was like, oh yeah, I do need this. And then I need this next tool to season the grill, right? So retargeting in action. Now, again, it's very similar to Facebook and Instagram. Again, they're not really looking for this stuff, but I can tell you this, TikTok targeting is far more advanced than Facebook and Instagram. They'll allow you to target people that have watched a certain type of video, that watch a certain type of creator, that have taken some sort of action. The income levels and all that stuff, Facebook and Instagram have been recently, I guess in the past few years, more bottlenecked because of the changes in iOS 13 and 14. So that was bad news for marketers, but they're trying to protect people's privacy. Not that TikTok doesn't, but it just gives you more tools just because I think that they capture more data. And there's also a lot more people that are watching videos on TikTok more than ever. Now, other platforms like email marketing are great for your current client base. I recommend if you're trying to grow your business and you're highly focused on not spending a ton of money on ads, whether you can afford it or you really have like a huge customer list and you want to make the most of your list, right? So research shows that it costs significantly more money to acquire a new customer than to sell to your existing client base. So having a email system, and not just an email newsletter like 20 years ago, but also an email system that is able to put your customers in different segments, right? People that have bought this product but haven't bought this product, people that have got this service but could also benefit from this service, and having a system on the back end like MailChimp, Klaviyo, even like a CRM tool that is able to tag people accordingly and present them with the right messages at the right time. Right? So email is super powerful. We recommend it primarily for people that already have a big client list. They can import it into a CRM or an email marketing system, like I mentioned, and then be able to segment and then start testing out different emails. Now, for that also comes, graphic design, the content strategy, and things of that nature. So we're going back to realizing that the DIY stuff is only going to get you so far. Right now, there's other avenues that we could go into as well, but for the most part, that's really the primary channels that are driving traffic in today's day and age. So now that you know the main channels and a little bit about each one of the platforms, like, Google SEO, Google Ads, Google SEO for maps, Google SEO for your website, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and the untapped market of TikTok ads, I'll go into the last and most deadly mistake that I think 95% of people don't have. And that's going to be their website is not tied to a CRM. Now, most business owners have somewhat of a seasonality to where sometimes you don't have any leads and don't have that much business and you're relying on your returning customers. But other times when you start to do some sort of marketing or the season picks up, you get so many leads that it's hard to keep up with. And then you have to wait to reach out after you're already done with the job that you're currently doing to call them. And by that point, they probably called somebody else, right? So at least, a lot of the time. So a CRM essentially integrates with your website. Somebody fills out a form requesting a quote or a consultation for your plumbing services, HVAC, electrical, personal training, whatever type of service that you offer. And most of the time it just goes to an email. You get a notification saying, hey, you got a new lead from the website. And then sometimes you forget. If you're on the ball, good for you. Now, a CRM is designed to take that information, categorize that lead, tag the lead, put them into the proper pipeline for you, and then do an automatic follow-up for you. Our system individually will follow up with people for at least 5 weeks, right? And it's not intended to replace you. It's intended to support you, right? So this modern tool is something that I think most service businesses need to have. And I know that you're probably just watching this video again because you're thinking about the website at a very micro level. And I can tell you right now, in today's day and age, there is so much more to know and to factor into before you make that decision about, just getting a website. It goes far beyond that. And if you don't go with somebody that understands this overarching strategy of how the website is ultimately intended to be a 24/7 sales tool, then you're going to live your life in small little growth spurts of a website, a Instagram profile, when in reality, when you became a business owner, you wanted to have the ability to hand off these things to the right people because it's their job. The problem is that it's hard to trust people to do what they're supposed to do. And I understand all of us have kind of been burned to some extent as we grow our businesses, but ultimately we just wanted to present all this information to you because it's very important that you see a website as far more than just having a good professional online presence. That is important, but now it's the bare minimum. So having a 24/7 sales tool is only going to work for you if you're able to drive qualified traffic, if you're not trying to do things yourself, and if you have something that has your back that is taking action on your behalf once somebody fills out the form, allowing you to feel more confidence and driving qualified traffic that will eventually result in more sales. So now that you understand the 3 deadliest mistakes you can make as a business owner when looking for a website designer or a website design agency, whether it be trying to do it yourself, whether it be assuming that you're automatically going to get traffic and sales, and by not having something that has your back when you're really trying to scale like a CRM, now hopefully you're a lot more prepared to make the right decision. And whether it be with our company, Aligned Position here in Fresno, or whether it be with somebody else, at least I hope that you take one thing away from this is that things have changed and we have to get with the times, because I'm not sure how competitive you are with your business, but I want my business to be the best. And if you want to be the best as well, then you need to work with somebody that understands the dynamics of modern times, how things change, and all of these different tactics that can be used to help you grow your business. Click here to watch our video that we created specifically about a CRM. What is it? How it's helping businesses structure their sales pipeline and ultimately their entire sales process. Understanding that marketing is only going to get you so far. Sales is what really grows the business. In this video, you're going to learn everything you need to know, from what is a CRM to how can it benefit you, what are some options for CRMs, and how it can ultimately help you scale your business, because it's much more than just marketing. It really comes down to your ability to maximize the leads that you're actually getting. Talk soon.